Morning, good evening, or closer to good afternoon. Hey, you're here, so stay a while. Don't go anywhere soon. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. When you're chilling with Dill, you already know the drill. Hey, first off, I just want to say, hope everyone had a happy holiday yesterday. Got to spend good time with family and friends. And, had some good times. Good times get you through it all. But you know what isn't a good time? When we get unwarranted disrespect. When shots are just thrown. Whether they're deliberate, whether they're intentional, some gotta give. Some gotta get called out. So recently, sorry, I got two notebooks with me. Two of them things. Recently, a report by on Pelican Sports Illustrated. Shout out to Jed Cutts. He included a report that several people through Bleacher Report compiled. But basically, it talked about how the Hawks were very surprised of the fact that President Dumars was willing to trade our 2026 first round pick. In the description, the Hawks front office could not believe the Pelicans were including next year's unprotected first round pick in their draft day trade, as per Fia the Brown. They even called Joe Dumars directly to triple check, and the Pelicans GM confirmed his interest, per Dan Devine. Now, the question is to be asked is, should we feel disrespected by this? Should we take this as a shot? Should we, go nuclear till hell hath no fury? No. But I'm gonna say this, Hawks fans, okay? Cause I got love for the ATL. I lived in Atlanta for about four years. I got a lot of love for Atlanta. Y'all need to go do something, please. Like, man, y'all love being worried about what it is that we're doing, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in football. Y'all be worried and pressed. Go get your rings. Please. I beg you. Please. Because if y'all going to try to... Because here's the thing about Atlanta sports fans. They will... Now, the Braves, I know they had their success a couple years ago. But outside of that, it's a little quiet. I got love for Atlanta. I lived there. I went to Clark. CAU. Atlanta got a special place in my heart. I got so many friends in Atlanta. But they be talking like they're this championship winning town, and you're not. And I don't want to hear about UGA. That's in Athens. It's like 2.5, pushing 3 hours away with good traffic. Georgia Tech ain't won a championship. They're good. I mean, they nearly had UGA's number this past year. I was hoping they could. I really was, but they couldn't get the job done. But y'all be worried about us, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Whether it's in college sports, whether it's in the NBA, whether it's in the NFL, y'all be worried. So, knowing President Dumars, he ain't worried. I mean, the fact that, they called and he doubled down, that's a President Dumars thing. That's a Shreveport brother right there. He do not care. He's going to stand on his convictions, stand on his principles. And I think overall, right, yes, this is an unconventional method of success. But sometimes you gotta dare to dream big and dream bold. Now, would I have traded an unprotected first round pick? Probably not. But I would also have to ask myself, how bad do I want a certain player? And with what we know of Derek Queen's potential and what he can become, he, to me, is worthy of trading a first round pick for. I'm sorry. Not every first round pick is a guaranteed star. They're not. It gives you a better odds because you're picking from a better selection. But Derek Queen's been compared to guys like Alperen Sengun, Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Nikola Jokic Light. If we get any of those players with Derek Queen, I don't want to talk about no 2026 first round pick. We could still find a way to trade back into that draft. Y'all realize that, right? There's a whole offseason still to go on. Trade deadline doesn't end till a little before the All-Star game in February. Like what I don't see what the that the hype and hoopla and also too, this year's draft is stronger than next year's. Next year's draft is better on the top. Like top heavy wise, yeah, I would say that. But overall, total class, nah. This 2025 class is one of the best in years. So personally, hey, I'm in support. And also, to be fair, Atlanta, you got our guy Bryson Graham. You got one of our guys. Because clearly, y'all ain't know what y'all was doing. So you had to run and call Big Brother. I know that ain't who I think it is. Little Big Brother. Like Big Boy in ATL, right? You had to run and call Big Brother to save the day. So treat Mr. Graham well. Because he's a special one right there. And he's going to get y'all right. But y'all got to actually do something with it. Please. I went to enough Hawks games. I got to know enough. I know people who work with the Hawks. Great organization in terms of professionalism, business, all that. Like, very reputable. I'm not gonna speak out of turn on that. But as a team, they're too content with being just mid, just being like consistently at this point. No up, no down. Just here. We ain't going like that. We're going for the top. We want playoff success and we want championships. That is the standard. President Dumars himself, right? Hall of Famer, won 2 rings. Played against some of the toughest competition of all time in the NBA. He's not settling for anything less. Neither should we. And he built a championship and nearly a dynasty. He built a championship team in Detroit and nearly a dynasty for the 2000s. So, again, success leaves clues. I trust President Dumars. I ain't worried about this report. But I just thought it was something interesting to talk about. Anyway, more important things to talk about, player personnel. Because when building a roster, you have to think about player personnel. You have to think about what guys you're bringing in, skill set, and culture. Do they fit into those two things? And there was a recent article done on Pro Football Network by Brandon Austin, who he did like top 5 most likely destinations for Jarrett Allen. And he listed us as the second most right after him returning to Cleveland. So basically that means he thinks that we have the best shot. Now, there's rumor, it's not fully confirmed, it's very tentative, that Jarrett Allen is also open to coming to New Orleans. I mean, he went to Texas to Louisiana. That ain't too bad of a drive. I know some of y'all make that drive. I know some of y'all probably there right now for the 4th. But when it comes to Jarrett Allen, right? I've talked about Jarrett Allen before on this channel. So that's why I put like part 3. Because I haven't talked about him too much, but I've talked about him a couple times. As a player, right? Averaged 13.5 last year, nearly 10 boards, 2 assists, a steal, a block, nearly 71% from the field, 72% from the free throw line. Was a big instrumental piece to why the Cavs had the second best defense in the entire league. The only team that had a better defense was the OKC Thunder, who, as you see, I'll be talking about next. We had the 27th ranked defense, and we allowed the second most points in the paint after the Jazz, which surprised me, given they got Walker Kessler, who is one of the best young defensive bigs in the game. But Hey, one man can't do it all. But you know, Jarrett Allen was an all-star, uh, very respected player. You know what I'm saying? True definition of a guy who brings, like it's super cliche what I'm about to say. Just hey, I'm rhyming accidentally. But he brings his hard hat. He brings his lunch pail. He's a real real first one in, last one out type of guy. Does his job, goes home. In addition to the fit that I think he would be able to fit well with us, I think culturally, right? I think personality wise, I think he fits. Like we've got a roster with guys that are dogs, right? We've got a roster with guys that are high type of scorers. Apologize, y'all. My ringer's on. Gotta mute that. But we got a roster of like scorers, guys that are just dogs out there, right? And you gotta have a roster of dogs, but you also sometimes you gotta have like the cool, calm guys that are still gonna be dogs on the court, but they're gonna be a little bit more. You know what? I think if I do it like this, let's try that. Okay, sorry y'all. As spoken, as said, yeah, we got a roster of dogs. We're building that. We're building guys who all have that competitive fire and edge. But sometimes you need a guy who's a little bit more laid back, a little more cool, calm, collected, composed. Doesn't take himself too seriously. Easygoing to be around. And when you think about some of the best teams, right? You think about the roster construction. Think about how all those different personalities fit under one unit. And how do they come together as one well-oiled machine? And, I'm sure that President Dumars has been going down memory lane and looking back at that '04 Pistons team and just seeing the cohesion, the collectiveness of that roster. And, he's definitely taking inspiration of how he wants to build this current team. Make no mistake. Why wouldn't he? That team won a championship. They had the most, I don't care what no one says, that is the most dominant defensive team ever. Shout out to OKC, but I've never seen a defense defend better than that '04 Pistons team. Never. Now, granted, I was born in '98, so like actively I remember the '04 finals. But obviously, y'all know me. I love history. I love the game. I love learning about as much as I can, especially of the past. So I go back. But my lifetime of who I've seen basketball-wise, yeah, that '04 Pistons team got the best defense. And a guy like Jarrett Allen is one hell of a defender, a special defender. You know what I'm saying? He even got the fro like Ben Wallace. I'm not saying he's Ben Wallace. But he's got the fro. He got the offensive game. I mean, there's a lot to like. Now, currently, his contract is $20 million. With Cleveland right now, they're trying to figure out, okay, we were unable to cross and fully cement ourselves in that echelon that we're trying to prove and reach to, right? Because we were the number one seed in the East. And we went out in an embarrassing fashion. We went out and we got gentlemen sweeps. And no one, it's tough because like when you get swept, it's like, all right, like we just flat out lost, ran out. You lose in 6, you lose in 7. You're like, we're right there. Like there's just one or two things we gotta do. When you lose in 5, like yeah, you won a game, but it's like, okay, what else? And was that game won because the opposing team was kind of like, let's give them some hope. Let's play a little mind games with them, or let's take the gas off the pedal, see what they do. But then as soon as we put the foot back on the gas pedal, now it's full throttle. Like you gotta ask questions like those legitimately when it's a 5-game sweep. Gentleman sweep. And the Pacers, hey, hats off to them because, that series, the clutchness was activated on another level with Halliburton, Nesmith, Nembhard, Siakam. I mean, they were just on 10. I think of all the series, obviously, like the Pacers and Knicks one held the most weight because of the rivalry, the NBA, right? Just like if we was to, just like if the Saints and the Falcons meet up in the NFC Championship. It's not happening anytime soon. But one day, one day, one day. But when you look at the magnitude of that, yeah. But to me, the best series that the Pacers had was against the Cavs. They just thoroughly beat them. There was like nothing to it. It didn't matter what type of defense that the Cavs were running. They had their number. Now, granted, context provided, right? Darius Garland was dealing with injuries. Donovan Mitchell got banged up quite a bit. I felt bad for Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I love Donovan Mitchell. One of my favorite players in the NBA. One of my favorite modern players, like just a dog. He's one of those players who I think could have played in any era. He just got everything you need to be a star. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm very high on Donovan Mitchell. But there's a lot of questions with Cleveland because they've yet to take that leap that people want to, they want to give them that credit and push, but they haven't seen the results. And the luxury tax, it's hitting everybody like a Holyfield hit, or like a James Toney or a Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna make this a boxing episode, but I'm just naming some favorite heavyweight fighters of my day. Shoot, even a Winky Wright. Okay, all right, that's it. No more. But the luxury tax in the CBA, the new CBA, is definitely impacting how every team now has to look at how they build their roster, right? Because they have to think, I might not be able to pay all these guys. And with Darius Garland, his injuries concerns, plus, him and Donovan Mitchell, small guards. D. Mitch is like 6'2", and Darius Garland's like 6'1". So that creates for some defensive mismatches. Not in a good way. Both of them are a little bit of a liability in that regard. So that puts even more pressure on, an Evan Mobley or a Jarrett Allen. And then Ty Jerome, Sixth Man of the Year runner-up, right? He's a free agent. He might want to go be a starter somewhere else. You just don't know. So that team right now is not looking there's a lot of uncertainty. And as mentioned, Jarrett Allen, right? So there's a lot of questions to be asked. A lot. Now, my personal thought is, look, if we can, work out a nice agreement. Obviously, we're probably going to have to use like a mid-level exception or something like that because we're just going to be breaking over the salary cap threshold. We just signed Kevon Looney, so it might be a little overkill. Just might be an overkill to bring in another big, but an all-star, a guy who is well-respected, and a guy who isn't flashy and is very, ripe and fit for – pause, that sounds crazy. All right, I need to grow up a little bit. My bad. I'm turning 27 this year. That was funny though. But a guy who is very much undeterred by being in a small market. That's a better way to put it. He's not a guy who needs the spotlight. He just wants to go out there and hoop. I love guys like that. You want guys like that on your roster. So I think if we can work something out reasonably, yes, I'm not opposed to it. I think about Eve could learn so much under him. Derek Queen and him as a duo would complement each other well. Let's make the big man room a strength. Let's make it one of our best positional groups that we got. It doesn't hurt. Look at both the teams that made the finals. They had strong big men, right? Hartenstein and Chet in OKC. And if they needed to, they got the other Jalen Williams. In Indiana, Siakam, Miles Turner, who I mentioned, a couple videos ago, but make no mistake, Miles Turner is a good player. A guy like Thomas Bryant, right? Whenever he comes back healthy, Jarace Walker. Like they've got bigs that can play really well and add to the team and add to the build. So if we can for a reasonable for a reasonable, what's the right word? Just for a reasonable price, I guess is the simplest way I could put it. Sometimes you just gotta not overthink it so much. But for a reasonable price and without having to give up too much of the farm, I'm with it. Maybe we do a sign and trade. The only thing is, I don't want us to lose someone like a Herb Jones in the process. I don't. And I damn sure don't want us to lose a Trey Murphy III. And I do not, under any circumstance, want us to lose Zion. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these little factors. So we just got to think logistically. We'll see what happens. But, it's not, we don't need to jump the gun. But instead of jumping the gun, let's go have some fun in the sun. Summer League. How ironic and how poetic it is that we're matched up with the current NBA champion. July 16th, Summer League, we play those OKC Thunder. Now, is this the same team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, J-Dub, and Chet? No. But we're playing the Summer League roster, and that still holds weight. There still is bragging rights on the line. And they've got a nice Summer League roster, needless to say. Needless to say. So there's 3 players that I wanted to highlight that I feel like are going to be the biggest matchups for our 3 rookies in Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, and Micah Peavy. So let's start at the big man, right? Let's keep it big man. We've been talking big man, so let's stay with the big man. One of my favorite prospects of this past year, and a guy that I'm not gonna lie, if we hadn't made that trade, but we were able to make that trade, but with another team, I think he would have fit perfect with us. But my guy Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, right? Talk about a beast. Averaged 14.5 last year, so, potential there heavy. 8.5 boards, 2 assists, 1.5 steals, 2 blocks. 53% from the field, 72% from the free throw line. Big East third team, Big East freshman team. Been compared to guys like Onyeka Okongwu, Jusuf Nurkic, Vin Baker. That's like an ultimate ceiling, because Vin Baker was special. Vin Baker was a dog. Jonas Valanciunas, Roy Hibbert, Daniel Gafford. That's a wider range of big man talent, but overall, that's a starting big. Make no mistake. He was picked 15th. I mean, the rich just get richer. Let's just say it. Shout out to Sam Presti. Sam Presti over there, doing computer work when it comes to getting guys, putting together a draft. But I think that's a perfect matchup for Derek Queen, right? Offense versus defense. Classic. Think of it like Wilt and Bill. No, okay, that's too far. Too far. Someone snatched my microphone. I'm not going to do all that. Rest in peace to both those brothers as well. Learned a lot about them. Read their books. Got nothing but admiration. That's why, even though I'm young, right? Even though I'm 26 going on 27, you will never hear me call, the brothers from the 60s and 70s and all that plumbers. That's crazy talk. Them men back in the day were brolic and Aki built and hooping in Converse. You can't ever disrespect that. You ever try to go hoop in some Converse? Yo, your ankles will feel like they're on fire. I did it once, never again. Like, I'll shoot around, whatever, but like I remember legitimately trying to hoop and see if I could do it. Yeah, worst mistake I could have made. My ankles felt like they were on fire for the rest of the week. But this is a classic matchup, right? You got ACC, or sorry, not ACC. No longer, I'm showing my age. They're no longer in the ACC, but you got Big Ten ball and Big East. I mean, that's college hoops royalty. That's pedigree right there. And I really like that as a matchup. Derek Queen, he's going to definitely get tested with Thomas Sorber. Thomas Sorber as a defender can go out there and play at the basket or guard you at the perimeter. To me, arguably the best interior defender of this class. I don't think that's crazy to say. You know what I'm saying? Like him and come on. Okay, let me say that. Yeah, let me be fair. But to me, what impresses me with Thomas Sorber is his ability to go out there and guard on the perimeter. So with Derek Queen as a big who is able to be on the perimeter, able to put the ball on the ground, that's going to make for a great matchup. Now, I believe in Derek Queen. I think he can win this matchup. But make no mistake, it is going to be a battle. This is going to be his toughest matchup throughout the whole summer league. First round pick versus first round pick. Defensive stud, offensive stud. I like the odds though. I do. All right. On to the next player. Now, with these next two, I think it's kind of interchangeable, but I'm getting the sense that he's likely going to be matched up with Jeremiah Fears. But AJ Mitchell, 6'5", 2-guard / point guard, second round pick in 2024, 38th overall. Had a good rookie year. 6.5 a game, 2 boards, 2 assists, nearly a steal, 49.5% field goal, 38 from 3, and 83 from the free throw line. Now, those set of numbers impress me the most. Now, yes, granted, it's a small sample size. He's on a team that's stacked, but as a rookie to come in with that kind of efficiency, oh yeah, you're blazing hot. You're doing what you need to do. And for Jeremiah Fears, who zero fears, he got it on the jersey, he's going to want to come in blazing hot as well. And, AJ Mitchell was compared to guys like a taller Jalen Brunson, a taller Mike Conley, and Malcolm Brogdon. So you got one superstar, a former All-Star, and a guy who, and a former Sixth Man of the Year, and a guy that is very underrated still to this day. That's a good wider range of comparisons for AJ Mitchell. And for a young guy like him, I think he's got a very bright future, whether it's in OKC or somewhere else. I think he's here to stay. But so is Jeremiah, okay? Like in the Bible, right? Jeremiah 29, 11 through 13. I'm very much Mandela effect paraphrasing, but God has a plan. And if there's a young man in this draft that I trust, it's Jeremiah Fears. Literally, zero fears. I fear no evil. I see no evil. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm getting biblical on y'all today, all right? It ain't even Sunday, but put a little $5 in the collection plate. Okay, nah. You ain't got to do all that. But just, show it costs nothing to show support. That's what I'm always saying. But I like this matchup for Jeremiah Fears. They're both bucket getters. They're both 3-level scorers. They can create on and off the dribble. So I think this is going to be a good matchup for Jeremiah Fears. The question for Jeremiah Fears is can you keep up defensively? Not saying you can't, but I believe you can, because this is the guy who is the most seasoned on this roster, right? He's got the most NBA pedigree. He's played the most big-time minutes. So make no mistake, while I think Jeremiah Fears' ceiling is higher, right, the learning curve is going to be very, very strong because he's going against one of the most seasoned players of the entire summer league and the most seasoned player on a very, 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 very talented roster that, they're minor league. It's like they're minor league team, this summer league team. Make no mistake. Sam Presti is definitely scouting and watching every single player and seeing he's doing the Birdman rub. Like, yeah, who can I add next? Who can I add next to this empire that I'm trying to build? So I got faith on my guy Jeremiah Fears. You know how we rocking. Zero fears over here, baby. Zero. But that's going to be a matchup right there. Bucket getter versus bucket getter. But now the ultimate surprise. And I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that he was going to be playing. It made sense too. But Nikola Topic, picked 12th overall last year in the 2024 draft, was the ADA league top prospect. Averaged 18 a game, 7 assists, nearly 3.5 boards. Missed his whole rookie year though, because he was recovering from his torn ACL that he suffered in the summer. And Big Easy Peavy or Easy Peavy, hey, whichever one sticks, we gonna see. We gonna see. But I make no mistake, somebody is going to come up with that as a nickname on the spot. And shoot, our guys, might come up with something clever. So you just never know. But Nikola Topic last year, right? Didn't get to play and show and prove himself. But to me, that 2024 class was like, so we got Eve out of it. So I can't say it was all bad, but it just was not, like, the talent wise was not comparable to any other class. And even classes that are just like okay, but it definitely leaned a little worse. But time will tell. There's been drafts that people thought were going to be the absolute, like, the truths, right? I mean, one that hurts, 2014. I thought like every guy that was in that draft was going to be a legacy defining superstar. That's just how it was hyped up. It was seen as one of the deepest draft classes in recent years and ever. And unfortunately, injuries and all that, it ruined what could have been. But with Nikola Topic, this young man is special. 6'6", 0.2. You could throw him at the 3 if need be. He's been compared to Josh Giddey, a rich man's Goran Dragic, Luka, and SGA. Crazy, right? I talked about SGA. You know what I'm saying? This young man is the truth, though. Make no mistake. The rich got richer. I mean, he's a guy that can handle the ball, can score, is efficient, has has a lot of ability that for his age, he should not be as good as he is. But he is. There's a reason why he was seen as one of the top international prospects. There's a reason why he's getting those comparisons. Everyone that I named, sans Josh Giddey, at least been an all-star. At least. And SGA and Luka are superstars. We not denying that. Right? We've seen what they can do. SGA just won an NBA title. Just won Finals MVP. Just won MVP. Just won the scoring title. He just achieved so much in history within 1 year. So, yeah, Micah is going to have his work cut out for him. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. But if there's any player who is resilient, who is hardworking, and who wants those type of matchups, it's a guy like Micah Peavy. And I got the utmost faith and confidence and belief that he's going to take on that challenge and he's going to embrace it. He's going to be all in it, ready to scrap if need be. You know what I'm saying? Because make no mistake, like Nikola, he plays like especially with the SGA and Luka comparisons, he plays cocky out there. He's a quiet guy, but he plays cocky. I like that as a player, right? He lets his game do the talking. But with when Big Easy Peavy come around, or Easy Peavy, whatever we going, right? When Micah come around, hey, all that is clamp. Rikers, baby. Alcatraz. Okay? We throwing them bows, throw them locks up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Rough Riders, but we throwing up the X for DMX, right? We lock ups. They won't let me out. Oh, I got faith in Micah as a second round guy as well too. He's gonna be there even hungrier than Jeremiah or Derek, right? He doesn't have the same type of guarantees in his contract the way that they do as first round picks and as lottery picks, because there's a difference as a lottery pick versus you're not picked in lottery. So I'm excited to see what happens though. I think that's going to be a great matchup. And it's going to be good for Nikola Topic too, because he needs the experience. But Micah, go out there. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Or we could just do a Cobra Kai. Strike hard, strike fast, no mercy, sir. You know what I'm saying? No mercy out there. No mercy. Have him feeling like G-Unit. Beg for mercy. Have him beg. You gotta have that man in cuffs and locked. And then in reverse, you gotta, because that's the only thing. He's not the greatest defender. Everyone I named is not a no one I named that is a stud defender. So you got to utilize your athleticism, your downhill ability, make his life miserable, make his life difficult. But hey, it's gonna be a great game. If you're in town, go see that game. If there's any game that I can recommend you for the summer league, it's that one. That's gonna be a huge game, and I'm honored that we're matched up against the champ. To me, hey, that just means the NBA is recognizing. You gotta find a win in everything. You truly do. The glass is half full. Anyway, though, hey, let's get to my favorite part. Responding to y'all. Love this portion. I love to be able to interact with y'all. Appreciate the support. First, I want to respond with the Creed 2020. I love the username, by the way. This Herb Jones trade talk was ridiculous. He's the type of player that would play a key role on a championship team. Facts! I say all the time. He could be our James Posey, Tayshaun Prince. Or, I said last video, our Lamar Odom. The potential for Herb is still high. Make no mistake. Is his ceiling as high as Trey or Zion? No. But make no mistake, he still has a high ceiling. There's still a lot of promise that he has. And there's a reason why teams are trying to put themselves in his vicinity, in his way, to try to acquire his services. Make no mistake. So, Creed, I'm with you on that, my man. Hey. All right, now this one is this one I really liked. The original Don Guillory. Bad Boys circa 2025. Zion is Dantley acquired. I like that, right? The alpha scorer. Because people forget that. Adrian Dantley and Mark Aguirre were like the actual scores of those Bad Boy Pistons teams. Obviously, you had Dumars and Isaiah. But as far as the roll the ball to them, go get a bucket, 5 dribbles are what a cool guy. What a cool guy. The coolest, right? Whatever. But roll the ball to you, go get me a bucket. Yeah, people forget that though. Fears is Isaiah. I love that comparison. I love it, right? Chip on his shoulder, playmaker, scorer, extraordinaire. A talent that, could be a face in the league, could be a superstar, face of the league guy. I believe in Jeremiah Fears, so I like that. But definitely Zion is still in that range too. It's just it's a different type of energy and personality that he exudes. Queen is Buddha Edwards. Oh, I'm gonna give Patrick Queen not Patrick Queen. I'm thinking football. I'm gonna give Derek Queen a little bit more credit than James Edwards. But shout out to Buddha though. Hey, you that's a name drop right there. Maybe though, just maybe, he can be a little bit of a more polite Lambeer. Food for thought. People forget, Bill Lambeer could stretch the floor, could put the ball on the ground. He wasn't just a big enforcer. Now, I totally get why NBA players would have wanted to fight Bill Lambeer. I would have too. He was a dirty player. I don't think Derek Queen is a dirty player, but he has the dog mentality. He ain't afraid to tussle and get rough. Eve is Sally. Oh, I like that. And I met John Sally. Great guy, incredibly hilarious. But I like that comparison, right? Super long, athletic big, that can play defense in the interior, in the basket. I like that comparison a lot. I do think Eve has a high ceiling, though. I think his offensive game is going to continue to expand. Herb is a young Robin. Yo, I love that. Yo, if Herb can, with the guys that I named, add some young Robin to his game, hey, it's over. We not moving Herb. We not. Dennis Rodman was, one of the greatest defenders of all time, the Worm. Jordan Poole as Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. I like that comparison. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be interesting to see of Jordan Poole and Jeremiah Fears, like who gets that starting role. But with Jordan Poole, if he is willing to take the role and he wants to be our Vinny Johnson, make no mistake, he's going to get big minutes. Vinny Johnson got a lot of big minutes for those Pistons teams back in the day. And they called him the microwave for a reason, because he could get hot. You know, he walked so guys like Jamal Crawford could run. Seriously. Lou Will. He walked so they could fly. Kevon Looney as Rick Mahorn. That's hilarious. And even more funny because of my cup. I went to Hampton for my first 2 years of college. Rick Mahorn is a Hampton resident and a Hampton alum. So, salute. But I did graduate from Clark Atlanta, though. I got love for both schools. It's kind of funny that I went to a school that's red and blue. You know, I'm a square, guys. Don't worry. I'm a square. I'm a civilian. I'm a tax-paying citizen. But I like that comparison, though, right? Now, I don't like Kevon Looney's like not as mean of a player as Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn was also mean. He was an enforcer, right? But you know, Buddha, Mahorn, Sally, Lambier. I mean, that was a front court right there. No way in, no way out. No mercy. You know what I'm saying? Bout it. Like no limit. They were over there. That was like the tank that P rode in the Make 'Em Say video. Like, yeah. And then last but not least, now this is one where, I haven't seen the vision with. I might have to. I mean, I would be willing to see the vision with that. But Trey Murphy III as Dumars must get better defensively. Title in 3 years. Don, I like the way you think. I mean, look, if Trey Murphy III is a bigger Dumars, hello? You don't get rid of a guy like that. You build around him. Joe Dumars is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest two guards of all time, one of the greatest two-way players of all time. So I like that comparison, because if Trey keeps leveling up as a two-way player, his ceiling is so high. People don't realize. But we do, right? But the rest of the world doesn't. So we got to keep it that way. You know, like Tyrese, I want you to keep it that way. Ooh, got to keep it that way. Keep it that way until it's time. So, and the follow-up comment, though, right? Because I love this Bad Boys circa, 2025 Bad Boys. I love it. And that's exactly what I was telling y'all about President Dumars. Where his mind at, what he's thinking about when he's constructing this roster that we got for us currently. Go Joe 2397 says, some don't see the vision. We had too many nice guys and assassins with a nice guy attitude. Team was getting punked. I think we could say that era is over with. Yeah! Hey, facts. We got dogs. Don't get me wrong. I'm a polite and well-mannered and respectful guy, but if you push me enough, you're going to see another side. We got to have that edge. We got to have that mentality of not letting anybody bully us. We've been bullied too much, been getting punked. We done with that. That's why I don't like all these articles that continue to be, oh, woe is me, and oh no, what are we going to do? Because it's like it reinforces that mindset. That's not a victory mindset. That's not a championship mindset. You think the Pistons in 88 or 1990 were walking around, oh, we can't do this. We can't. No. They were not. They were going there kicking butt and taking names. It might have been 89. I might have gotten the year wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. 89 and 90. Yep. They went back to back. So, all right. Anyway, though, yes, we are trying to build a culture on toughness. We're a small market team. No need for all the flash and craziness. No need. Build your identity off of strong play, offensively, defensively, aggressive play. And I promise you, the ceiling is only the limit. And the last comment Last two comments I'll respond to. Gerald Tate, 8917. Keep up the great work. And Gerald, if you do ever want to reach out to me, follow me on Instagram at Dylan_Bruton10. That's the account that I do post my links for here. It's been a while. I need to do that today. So that gives me a perfect task to do. But hit my line, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk Pelicans ball? Hey, I ain't that hard to find. I ain't that hard to reach. And the last comment, because, save the best for last. Why not? But my guy, Ricky Pronia, 2494. Good to see you, Ricky. Appreciate you. You have a good show, Dill. And yeah, I'm surprised that Reeves is gone too. I am. I would have loved for Antonio Reeves to stay around. I would have. I think the city would have embraced him. I think he was going to do well. But hey, I wish him the best of luck. Another team is going to get a scorer and a guy who's very mature, carries himself incredibly well, great young man. So I'm excited to watch his journey unfold, whether he's with us or not. Even with him not being here with us, I'm excited to see what he does. But thank you for the comment on the show. Much love. But it is with that. I've been yapping and blabbering and talking, but within good reason and for the love of the game and for the love of those Pelicans. I'm so excited for Summer League. Y'all understand. I'm so excited for preseason. I'll break down preseason eventually too. And I'm so excited for the season when it hits. So, hey, we got a lot to look forward to, baby. We got a lot to look forward to. A lot. So that's why you want to make sure that you are following Fan Arch, that you are subscribed to this channel, like, share, support. Support is free, as I've said. We're getting closer and closer to the goal. You know what I'm saying? Very close. Very close. 33 subs left. So, hey, it costs nothing. Show a little support. It goes a long way. But I appreciate y'all, nevertheless. Appreciate y'all for rocking it out with me. Stay tuned for more Pelicans content. Only delivering it to you authentically. You know what I'm saying? Always. But y'all have a great rest of your day. Great rest of the weekend. Spend time with some fam. Catch up. Do what you got to do. But always show love and spread positivity. It costs nothing. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned for more great Pelicans Daily content.